We're going to try to tackle this in a different way, I think, from most Dota 2 podcasts. Previously on .p.
Was it where...
Oh, my MMR.
Oh, yeah, MMR. We didn't even get your MMR.
I am like 1600 solo, ish. Plus or minus 50. Can we do that?
Sure.
Yeah, so Phantom Assassin, and we had that game where we RAKT'd it.
R-E-K-T.
Oh, racked it is what we did. Racked them.
God damn it, I was doing good that time. I was like fucking John Malkovich in that
Gotcha.
scene, dude.
And it really kind of starts with Cyphus and I.
It's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun getting to know everybody, getting to know this game, getting to know this community. And I'm grateful for all of the interaction. Yeah, I lost 250 points this week.
And that's everybody else's fault?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. In many more cases, I feel like yes.
Tell me, where's the logic in that?
From this Dota Life in .p Studios in Salt Lake City, it's Serial, Dota 2 Edition. The story of one game told week to week. I'm Sarah Koenig. Throughout the course of my investigation, I heard about this one show, Defense of the Patients. It got me thinking, is this the future of Dota 2 podcasting? And if it is, should it be?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Defense of the Patients. I'm your host, Cyphus. I'm sitting digitally with my co-host, Roland.
Hello!
I know this is the second time that we've done this, so we weren't going to do it again. But
I'm all right with it. It may actually be a help when the wah comes.
Yeah, when the wah.
That's even though he has a name, not until he's born shall I give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, it was nice because when we recorded Let There Be Geeks earlier, because we're using that awesome Zencaster app, I just muted it and ate some fettuccine Alfredo while those three idiots talked,
Oh, did you do a 4-man?
We did a 4-man, yeah.
Death to the 4-man, dude.
Yeah, I know, everybody hates the 4-man, and by everybody, I mean Fafnir.
I think it's just three's already pushing it on the audio airwaves, dude. 4, and it's just like, one person has to sit and eat fettuccine with the mic muted.
Yeah, hey, it works, though, all right?
I guess if you're hungry and you want to eat fettuccine while you pretend to be recording a show with people, then yeah, I guess it does work.
Yeah, I might eat some more fettuccine while we're on the air here, all right?
With how often I talk, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see how long you can carry the show,
I can carry the last 9 games as Lycan, so I could definitely carry this show, dude.
Yeah.
This is easy in comparison.
You have been on a Lycan kick lately.
Holy crap, and it all came down to that random. If I didn't random, I wouldn't be up 250 MMR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but your MMR rises and falls like the most volatile of stocks, it feels like.
Yep, that's why you gotta sell when it's like that. Yeah, I would sell now, probably, if you were invested in my MMR, for sure. Sell now, it might not get higher. No, I actually I learned a lot of new, important, cool things about Lycan Jungle. Not my own creations, other people's ideas on how to do it, because believe it or not, he is a jungler that's hard to jungle. He's not especially like that first few levels on Lycan, really tough. Intentional suicide is not uncommon on Lycan. And the only reason it was so easy the first time that I did it was because I randomed and I could start with a Stout Shield. So I could do Iron Talon, Tango, Stout Shield. Well, when you just do Iron Talon, Tango, it's fucking hard because, anyway, learned a lot of cool new things. Mostly about just you kill the small camp, then you kill it again, and then you have a clarity.
Of your last 20 games, you've had 8 Lycan games.
1 loss, I know, and one unranked. So I've had 7 wins and 8 wins, 7 in ranked, 1 loss. So 8 for 9.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
Yeah,
Can't complain.
Oh, dude, he is beyond fun. It's just kind of it's like a different game I'm playing again. It's for one, it's taught me a lot about the mini map. Not taught me a lot about the mini map. It's made me aware of the mini map more. Whereas on other heroes, if I'm playing Sven, I'm not concerned about, well, I should be, but I'm not so concerned about if I'm safe lane, what's going on in the off lane. I'm just like, whatever. I'm Sven. I'm here. I'm strong. They're there or they're not there, whatever. But as Lycan, and the learning that, which I did not know this, and for all of you who know this or don't know this, tier 1s don't have backdoor protection. Didn't know that.
I did not know that either. I was shocked to hear that. I was busy. I was listening whenever we were having that discussion before the Battle Cup.
Oh my god!
But holy shit,
that has made such a difference in my life. And I guess it makes sense that somebody of lower skill wouldn't know, because why would you be at the tower if there's not creeps there? You know what I mean?
We can't be trusted to be that close to a fucking tower.
No, at that point you're diving somebody and you should get back, because we at least know that much, I guess. But if there are any tier 1s left by the time I get Necrobook, good luck. I will wait for you to be somewhere else. I summon wolves, I summon Necrobook, I howl, I run up to the tower and I kill it in about 2 seconds, and make sure all the tier 1s are down, and getting that 380 gold for myself. It's basically a kill for me, 200 gold for everybody else on my team, and most of the games I would say are around 30 minutes that I play with Lycan. The cool thing about him though is he can rat late. He doesn't have to win early. There's no timer. There's no drow timer, because he's fast. Oh god, I love him, dude. I am so aware of where everybody is, because you have to be. Because if I'm gonna go after a tier 1. Especially with no creeps around, and I'm going to have to tank it with my necro units and my wolves, I need to make sure, that everybody is elsewhere. And basically that's the whole game is like, and now is making sure people are elsewhere. And I get away with murder. So 688 with all of these minor patches that keep coming out, it feels like we had 688E a week and a half ago, and then 688F came out pretty quickly after. Mm-hmm. And that's not that much of an exaggeration. I don't think you're even exaggerating. I think
I might be
right.
dead on.
Yeah.
But the patch feels a little stale. I won't lie. I find myself.
I disagree.
I don't know.
Why is it stale? Because there's not a Leshrac that's wrecking you every game. Is it stale because there's not a sniper that's overpowered? You know what I mean? Is it stale because there's no hero that's on fucking top?
It feels like we haven't had that latest new mechanic or new item or new thing that's been tossed into the mix.
Let's figure out Lotus Orb, man. Let's figure out if we even want that item. Let's go ahead and all sit down. We'll get a Dota emissary from every single country. We'll sit them all down, and we'll just talk about Lotus Orb for about 2 seconds and be like, why was this added? Is it good at all? Should it work like a Lycan Sphere? Yes, it should work like a Lycan Sphere. This should not be activatable. Should it purge? Maybe even not. Just make it work like a Lycan Sphere. It's kind of a lame item.
No, it has to be activatable. It can't work.
I know,
like
because of the purge.
Because of the reflection. If you're going to reflect a spell back at somebody, there needs to be some skill associated with that, and not just
if I'm going to stop it, you could use the same argument for Lycan Sphere. If I'm going to stop a stun from you, there needs to be some skill.
Yeah, but you get to stop one singular.
I would love to bounce back one singular spell instead of have that fucking shitty activatable that's obvious as fuck, dude. Even at 2K.
Right, no, I'm saying, but that's the line. The balance line, and I personally agree with it. The balance line that's been drawn is if you're just stopping the spell, it can do it automatically. If you want to reflect the spell, well, that requires a little bit of skill.
Sure. I'm just mad because I have a Lotus Orb challenge that I got on Elder Titan that we were playing yesterday.
Yeah.
But the only reason I got it was from Hurricane Pike, and then I would die a million times to Enchantress's Impetus, so it was not fun. But.
Yeah, fuck the hero. But no, I was gonna say, despite the patch maybe feeling a little bit stale, it has been nice to be able to fall in love with a variety of different heroes on and off. Something I feel like we I don't know, at least I haven't been able to do that many patches. I feel like the last few patches I've been trying to be like, okay, what's like a couple of meta heroes that I could learn and, do decently with. Whereas recently, especially like swapping over to over to the carry position whenever I solo, it's been nice to just, I don't know, fall in love with a bunch of different heroes that are for the most part viable, with maybe a few glaring exceptions here and there, or a few counters that you might see that you shouldn't pick into. But with the exception of all of that, I don't know. It is nice to be able to bounce around from hero to hero and kind of have those little love affairs with each of them and further develop an intimacy with the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the fact that I'm playing a hero that, like, if I wouldn't have randomed Lycan, he just never would have come to mind for some reason. I don't know. He was he was so popular that he just crashed, I guess. He turned into a different hero. Lycan used to be that, like, up in your face man fight. Correct me if Andrew built Chrysalis on every hero, so I'm sure Andrew built Chrysalis on Lycan. That's like an item I wouldn't even consider ever on Lycan now. Like, there are about 20 items before crit that I would consider buying on Lycan at this point. Like, that is just so not Lycan.
Well, and lest we forget that Andrew was playing Lycan during the day and age of
Lycan. Lycan's most popular. Remember,
yeah,
that was back when Lycan was getting banned, first ban material. That was like 6.81.
Well, and he was a big right clicker at the time. Like,
he was like a man fighter Chrysalis, and I don't think Andrew was wrong buying the Chrysalis. I don't remember. I'm sure his build revolved somewhat around like Treads and Chrysalis and Assault Cuirass or something like that, which Assault Cuirass is still awesome on him, but Necrobook never would have been considered ever.
Yeah, but Andrew didn't like playing pushers, and that's a way. I think the thing we can both agree about Andrew's playstyle, Wazoo's playstyle, is that he wanted to be Wraith Brady. You know what I mean? He wanted to be.
He wants to stand there and like fight people with a sword, like he does in every game we ever play. Path of Exile, he's a barbarian. When we used to play Battle Guard or whatever the official name for it is, foam fighting, whatever, he was the guy with the longsword, didn't even have a shield. Like, every single game we have ever played, whether it be RPG or anything, he is that sword. Every Dungeons & Dragons character he's ever made has probably been some sort of fighter. Like, that's his deal. And Lycan is just simply not that anymore. Although Lycan is this, like, don't call it Ratus, call it Dagas, okay? Because he is the meanest.
Hey, I'm called a Pero with Pero.
Oh yeah, Pero is dog. Thank you. Yeah, Peros, goddamn Peros. Like, that is the issue, dude. I swear to God, people, because of Lycan's infrequency, and I don't know what his pick rate is. I'm guessing it is below 50th most picked. I'm guessing.
All right. I'll do some checking.
But people, like, I'm on a tier 1 and I'm killing the tier 1, and then they fortify, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll wait I don't know how long fortify lasts, 10 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, I don't know, feels like forever. And I keep attacking it, and then next thing I know, I'm on the tier 2 and they're still doing their battle, and then they don't, and then next thing I'm taking their high ground, and this is at like 16 minutes I'm high grounding these fools. And I think it's just kind of the art of surprise. They're like, what hero can go from tier 1 to tier 3 in the matter of a minute?
Lycan is the 8th least picked hero at our skill range, the 2K to 3K range.
So he is
a 3.01% pick rate.
Yeah, so you see him 3% of the time, and it feels like less than that for even me. So people don't really have that like preset notion of how fast he can push. People understand.
He's pretty low across the board, though. He doesn't have above a 4% pick rate at any skill level.
Yeah, and there's reasons for it. I mean, there are definitely glaring flaws with him for sure. And I don't know. He's hard to jungle. He's maybe not the best safe laner. He's definitely not a mid. Off lane, I would say absolutely not.
He actually gets picked less the further up the skill chain you go. He drops to a whopping 1.16% pick rate at above 5K with a 46.84% win rate.
I would say that's because there's no real lane for him. I mean, jungle, he is literally... I'm going to, like, you know me in the jungle. I guess higher skill levels, they're probably better at it. But he is extremely hard to jungle. Like, I can jungle 5 to 10 heroes with my eyes closed.
Screwed at higher levels when he jungles.
And, well, yeah, and I'm just talking the jungle fighting me. I'm just talking me versus the neutral creeps. Okay. It's hard, okay, as Lycan. Yeah. Because he's a strength hero. He has low armor. He takes a lot of damage. His wolves cannot tank at all, especially at level 1. It's hard. Even if you choke farm, then you have your wolves. They can stand right behind you. It's a hard hero to jungle, in my opinion, for the first, like, 3 levels. Until you get, like, level 3, he's hard to jungle. You wouldn't want him safe lane, and I have yet, in all 9 of those games, I've only played him jungle, but... I could see why you wouldn't want him safe lane, because safe lane's kind of the farming lane. You're there to gather farm, and really you want to kind of be everywhere as Lycan. So mid doesn't make sense. Safe lane doesn't really make sense. Off lane you're going to get wrecked because your wolves really can't farm for you. You can't really go up and get a last hit. I don't know. I think his glaring flaw is in the laning phase for sure.
Yeah, no, you're right. I the more you talk about it, yeah, I can't think about where the hell you would want to run him, because I feel like it's that, I don't know. It's okay. So the other night we played a game, you, me, and Captain Silverfox after the Battle Cup, which we should talk about a little bit later on, where you played carry Omni Knight in the safe lane.
Yeah,
we were fucking,
and we were joking because we just got beat by an Omni Knight. And it was like a support Omni Knight, but it was definitely the Omni Knight.
And towards the end of the game, I kind of like semi-seriously, joking.
We all agreed, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, but towards the end of the night, I was like, yeah, really, I guess at the end of the day, what I wish we would have done is not run carry Omni Knight. Because, there are so many better heroes, and I feel like Lycan falls into this category as well. There are just so many better heroes to have in that position. It admittedly, Lycan is a better choice than Omni Knight, but... Oh, yeah. Like, when I run through a list of carries, like generic carries to run on the team, not knowing what the other team is picking, not knowing what my current comp is, first pick carry out the door, when I think of a list of carries, I would just much rather have you on about a half dozen other carries. Yeah. Easily. And maybe more realistically, probably 24 different carries would come to mind.
Yeah, there's like 25. There's like 25 heroes that can go in the safe lane. Like, I would even say... I hate safe lane Necrophos. I don't think there's any merit. That Necrophos is another hero that he's an exception where he gets picked more frequently than Lycan. I will definitely say that. But
I mean, give me an Ember Spirit instead of a Lycan.
A Juggernaut, a Bloodseeker, a Sven, a Medusa, a Drow, Wind Ranger.
I think you and I equate
any fucking thing, really.
And don't get me wrong, like the push is cool, and like maybe it'd be fun to try, like, and we also play Dota differently than higher skill players. I mean,
worse. That's how we play it differently.
Well, and also less coordinated, I guess, is the bigger issue. When I walk into a pub and somebody first picks that Lycan, or I first pick that Lycan, or you first pick that Lycan, odds are I'm not going to be able to convince the rest of the team, hey, let's try out this really cool strat where we run the Lycan and we run a Drow mid and we run a Wind Ranger dual lane in the off lane or whatever the fuck. We go for a heavy push lineup and try to win it at 25 minutes. That doesn't happen at our skill level at all. And no. I'm sure it's hard even to coordinate at a high skill game to coordinate that kind of a strategy in a pub, but like let alone a pub, just try having that happen at all. I mean, how many times have we tried to run a pocket strategy that we developed beforehand?
There's just like no such that just failed. It's like, yeah, maybe in like a captain's mode, if we had a team and we practiced, you could have like a quote unquote pocket strat. But with a pub, it's just, I think the only pocket strat that exists is that like level 1 Roshan strat, which is like, I don't even care if it's great and won me every game. Fuck that. Like that's just not like it's like discovering a cheat code. It's fun for like 3 minutes, and then it ruins the integrity of the game.
Or it would be fun if you ran that strategy like one in 5 games, because you were able to rotate different kinds of strategies around.
Yeah, but there's
we don't have that ability.
Just playing good Dota is a great strategy. Picking synergistically and picking comfort is a good pocket strategy.
The strategy at our level is farm better than everybody else, don't die less than everybody else, get more kills than everybody else, in about that order.
Yeah, and if you've never played Medusa before and everyone's like Medusa is the pick, so what? Don't pick Medusa. Pick what you're gonna pick and farm like crazy with what you're gonna pick, because that's what matters ultimately. Is what I'm coming to realize, and of course I'm coming to this realization because of people like Purge and others, and watching his coaching sessions where he's just like, don't worry about countering. It's like, dude, like you gotta learn the game before you learn how that, like, M. Bison is better than Ryu. You know what I mean? Like you need to learn how to play Street Fighter long before it matters if M. Bison can beat Ryu. Like that type of thing. So, that's kind of my take on everything. Also with Lycan, I can't think of a single person that like severely hinders my ability. Anybody else, I guess, with movement, like Bloodseeker. I ban Bloodseeker usually, and Mirana are the 2 people that I ban, because I think I'm going to get super low health in the jungle, and I don't want Bloodseeker to see my item progression, or to even know that I'm a real, because if I'm only picked 3% of the time anyway, and if I'm in the jungle, they're just going to think that I don't even exist. And all of a sudden, Roche is dead at 10 to 11 minutes, and I'm knocking on a tier 1, and they're like, oh, whatever, fortify as they do their thing. And then all of a sudden I'm on the tier 2, and they're like, what the fuck? Okay, fortify again. And then all of a sudden I'm on their high ground, and I just go for it. Like right after I get an Aegis, I go all the way to tier 3 almost every single time, and I will just sit there and attack the tower with my wolves and die. And then when I revive, hit wolf form and run away. And then they're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And then I just go into jungle, wait for wolf form to come back up, get my necro book, and then just go fucking like drive by, shoot down a tier 1 tower, dude. Like I don't know of any other hero that can have like a marching band with him, wolves, necro units, and they move at max movement speed, above max movement speed. My wolves and my necro units, so long as I ult. Anything under my control moves at the speed of my ult. So like I can be anywhere on the map, like within seconds. So I think it's like he moves at like 600 something. It's not like it's above max movement speed. So it's just awesome. Yeah. Like, oh, a fight's brewing bottom. Guess what? The tier 1 top is still alive. Blah! Turn myself into a wolf and then go take down the tier 1 and then push and then cut that wave to the point where I'm pushing on the tier 2 and that fight is still happening because it's that quick. Like it is crazy, dude. I have the most commends I've ever had at 17 commends. And that's over Lycan, over just playing Lycan. I have 17 commends.
All right, so I'm gonna posit a hypothesis that I'm working on for the current meta and what we might see.
Okay.
And this probably pertains more to our skill level than anything. I think we're gonna start seeing the heroes that are gonna start like becoming annoying heroes as time goes on in this meta in 688, as long as it hangs around, are the heroes that have escaped the nerf for the longest, right?
You've been working on this. That's what you Centaur.
And I know it sounds kind of like, no shit.
No,
yeah,
it makes sense. Like, yeah.
And Centaur kind of factors into this too. And so, like, because I felt like, and the only reason I went back and looked at Centaur was
explain yourself fully on the whole Centaur thing, because you're coming to me with like these like my religious mother who says the world's gonna end, and I was like, all right, yeah, so Centaur's good, I guess.
I think Centaur is going to be super fucking annoying for us at our skill level, and possibly, in others. We're seeing Centaur get picked up.
You think he's going to get reworked or something? Because
no. I think I think we're going to see him and a couple of other heroes start to kind of rise to the top of become the cream that rises to the top of the Dota 2.
Not Centaur.
I think for offlaners, yeah, I think Centaur.
His escape.
That would be my current guess.
No, dude. Like, why? Why?
Well, here's why.
Okay.
Because I think we're seeing a lot of heroes get these like slight nerfs, and it's happening like 688E, 688F. We, obviously
Okay.
we see these like these patches are literally nothing but nerfs. I mean, yes, there's like a buff here and there, and there's they're
Omni Knight's
usually
still
buffs
stupid.
to like.
Omni Knight is still stupid.
Yeah, I
618
completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Like to make his heal not pure. That's the one. That's the way you fix Omni Knight. Make his heal not pure. Make his heal magical. Like serious, and then Omni Knight is fixed.
At least for the sake of pubs. Pubs.
Well,
pubs
they
are-
can't do something that it's exclusive to pubs. I mean, it has to be unilateral.
No, I just
right?
mean like Omni Knight is sometimes. There are some days where Omni Knight ruins pubs for me.
Yeah,
know what
I
I
mean, he's just a hero that was really, really good, but was kind of dormant. And then popular people in the community started playing him, namely Sir Action Slacks.
Well, Slacks has been playing him for ages. at
Sure,
this point.
but he hit like a big mark, that 5,000.
I think it was
MMR
when
mark.
we started seeing him this last patch, when we started seeing Omni Knight get picked up a little bit more in pro play.
I just started seeing him everywhere, dude.
And well, you were already seeing him everywhere in, his win percentage, like
His win
Jesus,
percentage was always that, but his pick rate didn't hit 15th until very recently.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a hero that even at 5K plus has a 60% win rate right now. In pubs. But regardless, so with Omni Knight being the exception to the rule, I think we're seeing those patches come out. They're nerfing across the board, or in just minor ways. But enough minor nerfs, I think, are going to start to add up to where heroes like Centaur Warrunner, who hasn't seen a nerf in a patch
Does
since.
that make him good though? I don't think that makes him good. Like, what's his skill
It does
set?
by comparison. It does by comparison. Well, he's
just
got
because everybody else is getting
disable,
worse doesn't
damage
make
return.
Centaur better. I
Think
see your
about-
argument. I see your argument. Let me just try and translate what you're saying here. You're saying that everyone else is getting weaker, and Centaur is staying the same. Thusly, he's getting better because the differential between
absolutely.
me and other heroes is such that I'm staying at a net even while they're getting a net loss.
Right.
And that means they're either coming closer to me or I'm now rising above them. But let's look at Centaur Warrunner in specific and what he does. He has Return, which is
Which
if
when
you're getting
stacked
heavily
with-
harassed.
when stacked with Blade Mail is a sickening ability to have.
Sure, it's a lot of return damage, but at the end of the day, it's an easy thing to say, hey, let's not attack Centaur until last. Or, hey, like, let's just, whatever, let him roam around. Also, Centaur is an in-your-fucking-face hero. Super in-your-face hero when we have heroes that are popular that are ranged. Namely, Drow, is what I think of in safe lane, why Centaur sucks.
Oh, I see, and I love the idea of picking the Centaur into the Drow because your odds are you're going to grab a Blink Dagger and you're going to try to get close. You're going to try to close.
Not going to be fun. I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe Drow is not the best example. I just don't love his abilities. His ult,
Stampede.
too long of a cooldown. That's his escape. That is his big thing. Is, hey, everybody, you can move fast, and it's great. But it's no matter how nerfed every other hero gets and how unchanged Centaur gets, it's not going to change the fact that you need to use that ult at the right time, and your team needs to use it in kind. And what I mean by that, like, if you have a Phantom Assassin that's chasing after somebody, or you have a Sven chasing after a PA or something like that, and you hit your ult, and that Sven turns and runs the other way because he's like, oh, she's getting away. Well, you just wasted your ult hoping that this guy's going to know to run after. Like, your ult requires coordination, and that's a bummer.
So yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that is the shitty part about, like, no matter how good Centaur gets, your ult still requires your team to use it right. Like, you can use it right, sure, as yourself. Like, you can, if you're chasing somebody, you can hit the ult, and maybe you can get that hoof stomp, or maybe you can get that double edge. But at the end of the day, you're probably using your ult for your mid or for your carry to secure that kill, and that's up to them. That's not up to you, even after you hit the ult.
But it's kind of the same thing as like Spectre, in the sense that, yeah, if I'm paying attention globally, my ult can save an ally,
But
or get an ally a kill.
That's
or
in Spectre's fate, though. That's up to Spectre.
if I'm
That's not up to your team. Like,
if I'm
Spectre
initiating a fight, when you're
it's different.
have you ever used Stampede to like stop the enemy team when they're grouped up?
Yeah, I mean, I had a love affair with Centaur. I've had a love affair with every hero by now. I'm almost positive.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I
It's a
think
great
showing,
de-initiation. It's a great initiation. All I'm saying is that it requires you to trust your team, and unfortunately, especially if we're going to talk about like solo MMR, don't pick heroes that require you to trust your team. Like that's like why I'm doing so well on Lycan. I swear to God, it's like I don't need anybody but myself. Like, and he really is a lone wolf. No pun intended. I don't need anybody else. Like, I can totally rat myself and just chip away at things myself, and take objectives myself. I don't have to rely on anybody to be like, hey, let's group, because grouping is just me going into wolf form, and that's why I'm loving Lycan. Heroes that require
and we
coordination.
we got into this on the Wednesday show a while back, like heroes that require coordination, because every hero benefits from coordination, but some heroes flat out require it. And you're, I mean, I'll agree with you. Like, heroes that require coordination are always going to be weaker in pubs. That being said, I don't think Centaur is. I think Centaur falls more into the category of hero that benefits from it, as opposed to hero.
He doesn't absolutely need it, but what hero does absolutely need coordination?
IO would be the top of that
Not
list.
necessarily. IO can work a lot like Omni Knight. IO can just be save dumb people. You know what I mean? Like that. IO can work independent of other people. IO doesn't have to IO doesn't have to be like hit the tower. I'm overcharging.
IO will never reach his full potential without coordination. He absolutely requires it to be a hero that shines.
Sure, and that's why you don't see much IO. I'm not arguing that. I'm just trying to think of a hero that like is absolute. I think Earth Spirit is absolute shit without coordination, because it doesn't matter if I kick somebody and stun them for 2 seconds if there's nobody there.
Chen pops to the top of that list. Chen requires you and your team to, and this is I'm ripping off Ursi here, hardcore. But Chen more or less requires your team to take advantage of the fact that you come out of the jungle with an army ready to push.
Early game. Chen can do a lot by himself early game, but yeah, definitely late game.
Well,
you send people home. You have a thing that can teleport people home for free. So, like, that obviously requires coordination with people. You have a pretty big nuke on Chen. You heal everybody as Chen. So, yeah, definitely a hero that requires heavy coordination. But still, his ultimate ability is helping everybody.
Broodmother, another great example of a hero that basically requires coordination. If your team isn't, yet again, I'm ripping off either Ursi or Flub or Wazoo or one of those bastards on the Wednesday show.
Why would you rip Wazoo off?
Hey, sometimes he knows what he's talking about. All right.
No, I'm just joking.
But Broodmother. If your team doesn't understand what a Broodmother does, if your team,
that's why I don't play Broodmother anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and why should you? She has an abysmal win rate. Like,
I have a
36.49%.
I have a 63% win rate with her. So like my problem with Broodmother is exactly like what you're saying, is that, hey, you guys, I'm knocking on tier 3's door. Like, how about you come to my lane instead of, going elsewhere? Like, let's take my lane, and then I'll reset my web structure, and we'll take another lane, and then I'll reset, and we'll take another lane. And it just doesn't work like that. Maybe when we get into 3K, 3.5K, 4K, 4.5K,
right. Well, and
I'll play more of these heroes. But for now, I'm looking out for me and myself.
That's perfectly illustrated by the fact that when you look at Broodmother and her win percentage from 2K, even through the 4Ks, it's sitting around like 36%, 38%. But when you get to 5K plus, it jumps up 5 points to 43%.
Still low. And that's because she's countered by so many things as well.
Even though it's low, you're talking about a 5 percentage point jump just because the only variable that we alter there being skill level.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and arguably one of the bigger things that you learn at higher skills is how to properly coordinate and take advantage of and fully utilize all of the heroes in a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You see that trend with, like Lone Druids. So what do you think Lone Druid's win rate is from like 2K to 4K?
I'm going to guess 42 to 44 in 2K, and then goes up to above 50, above 4K.
So Lone Druid's win rate only goes above 50% at 5K plus. Below that, at the 4K to 5K region, he climbs up a little bit, 45%. He is below 40% from 2K to 4K.
I believe it, and that's because he just got more complex with his rework, with the bear being able to scare somebody away, or Scylla, the actual dude, to be able to scare somebody away, and they share a cooldown. So you have to decide: is my bear going to intimidate somebody, or am I going to intimidate somebody to ultimately live? They added complexity on an already complex hero, so of course his win rate's gonna go down, and he's gonna be harder. And I mean, other heroes that are super strong that take advantage of this. I mean, we're seeing a heavy blink meta. Every hero, like we're going up against teams where every fucking hero on their team has a blink dagger. Like,
oh, yeah.
Lion, Phantom Assassin doesn't have a blink dagger, but for all intents and purposes has a blink dagger. Like Lion, PA, Sven, like every fucking hero.
Zeus's and ODs and
Yeah.
Necros all pick up Blink.
And that sucks for Lone Druid, because Lone Druid is all about positioning himself. I mean, in my opinion, I'm at a 39% win rate with Lone Druid at my skill level according to Dota buff, so I don't know much, but I'm going to go ahead and say that he wants his bear in front and himself in back, and a blink dagger can kind of negate that. Which is surprising that Drow does as well, but Gust is such a good ability. Yes, I said it. Gust is a great
Another
ability.
breakthrough here on Defense of the Patience.
Yeah, no, I was playing some late night IO Tiny with Proud, and that was some of the most fun, and ranked too. It was really cool. The average was like 3K, I think was our average, because he has a Smurf. And learned a lot about what an IO should be doing, which was fun. And that's not leeching experience from Tiny. That's stacking the jungle, that's rune controlling, that's making sure you're taking Tiny's bottle and refilling it. And it was a ton of fun, but ultimately, I mean, the big lesson there was, the point that I was going to get at, that I have no idea what I'm going for, but it was fun and it was coordinated, and I lost my train of thought completely. I don't know.
Coordination.
Coordination
that's the key.
Coordination's the key. Anyway, playing with Proud and the coordinated Tiny IO was absolutely fun, but I just kept saying in the games, I was like, dude, like, I would love to, like, next time we do this, to be way better at it, but sadly I won't be, because I can't practice this. I can't practice IO. I can't practice Tiny IO. I can't be like, hey, random guy, I'm a really good IO, I promise. A 5K said that I'm a really good IO. Why don't you pick Tiny, because I see that you've been playing Tiny, sir? No, we'll tell this other guy he can't mid. You and I will go mid and we'll Tiny IO. And it'll be great, and I'll stack camps for you, and you'll take them when you're ready, and it'll be wonderful, and we'll win the game, and then we'll relocate onto tier 1s, and this is how I initially found out about the tier 1 thing, is because of IO Tiny, and we'll rip down tier 1s every time relocates up if there's any tier 1 alive, and it's awesome, and we'll win. It doesn't fucking work like that.
Yeah,
I'm
with you.
And that's why, like, look at, like, my history, bro. Like, look at my like my criminal charges. Every single hero is like a hero that is getting closer and closer to just being like, hey, everybody, fuck off. I can do this by myself. Like, Sven had a really good win rate with Sven. That's a hero that is pretty good at doing it by himself. Spectre, back when Spectre was crazy good, Spectre was pretty good at just doing it by herself. You know what I'm saying?
She still is pretty good at
Sure.
usually doing it by herself. In fact, actually, now that you bring up Spectre, let's talk about the Battle Cup real quick.
Oh,
because
okay.
that was I had a good time, honestly.
So did I. I had a really
That was
fun
one of
time.
those games that, even though we lost it, like, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
And
And we had an idea. I like that, like, even if the idea was proven wrong or proven right, or
I think the idea was proven
inconclusive.
right. I think we fucked it up.
Yeah, so the idea, and we knew this going way into the Battle Cup, was, so Denny's girlfriend, Grandma Ralph, or Rin, was going to play Lich, because we wanted something that was going to naturally pull the wave for Spectre, because we definitely wanted a Spectre. And we knew Captain Silverfox was a damn good Spectre, and that he wouldn't disappoint.
I feel like we should discuss there. Like, we realize that there are like a lot of other supports, but her support pool is semi-limited. She plays Dazzle.
Of the supports that she has, that's the best support to complement Spectre, in my opinion.
Dazzle, Lion, and Lich, and you know,
Lion's always good for sure, but
yeah, but Lion can sometimes push the wave, you know, depending on how you're harassing with the stun.
Yeah.
You know, and she's relatively new to the game, so some of the
and understanding lane equilibrium, like she doesn't even need to worry about that. That's like telling a baby that there's like murderers out there. It's like, you worry about that later. Like, we'll just keep you alive for now. And like,
well, and
when
I'll say she's actually pretty aware of lane equilibrium even at this point. Like, and that's just from, you know, playing the support in the lane with, you know, somebody who's me, who is attempting to worry about that, or saying things like, hey, yeah, we don't want to push here because I need the equilibrium as close to the tower as I can get it.
Yeah.
But that being said, I just wanted to couch that by saying Lich was the ideal pick in that scenario, not partially because of taking into consideration comfort.
Taking into consideration comfort.
Doing anything competitively, as we've mentioned before, comfort is
very important.
Yeah.
And because of that, and we'll go back to the reason why I'm playing Lycan. The game after I played Lycan, I played Techies. I randomed to Techies, which was really fun. And then Denny was like, what do I pick? And I was like, pick Spectre, because I will get you late game. And sure enough, we had a really, really difficult game. Game went like above 60 minutes. And
I'm gonna go back and look.
They didn't really have a carry, but they had a bunch of like beef.
They had this super stupid.
I know that they had a Pudge. I know that they had.
Okay, they had Vengeful Spirit. They had Lich, they had Undying, they had Bounty Hunter, and they had Underlord.
Yeah, not Pudge, Underlord.
Yeah,
they were just like Pudge. So hard to cut through, and so we just kind of, I don't know, I just bombed, and Denny farmed, and finally we got there. And so our idea for the Battle Cup was, okay, Lich, Spectre, offlane Tide, even though this didn't happen, because we thought we need some sort of control. Which we ended up playing a Mirana in the offlane, which was fine and didn't serve the same.
I still did. I still would have preferred a different hero there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing Mirana was doing was AoE nuke, cool, but we needed AoE control. And then we had a Warlock mid and a Techies. So the draft, Lich, Spectre, Techies, Warlock, Tide Hunter.
Which, by the way, I'm
preferably
loving that Warlock mid. It's
Corlock, yeah. Oh man, and I was super surprised. You got first blood that game against an Invoker. You were doing extremely well. No, I got first blood, but you technically got first blood.
Yeah, well,
because I got
non-cheap first blood.
Yeah, I got the Techies first blood spot, and like it's like guaranteed first blood every time. People just aren't wise to it. I don't understand, but and it worked out beautifully. The only issue was they picked a Morphling, and we didn't have lockdown. Unless we landed a 4-second arrow, or unless, you double golemed him, meanwhile I suicided and Spectre used his non-existent Dagon 5, we couldn't kill that Morphling. So
here's where, in retrospect, it's just one of those hindsight things. Like,
should have been banned.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and take my share of responsibility for this, which is, I didn't need to get that Octarine core. I could have gone Scythe of Ice. We didn't ever get a Basher or an Abyssal Blade on Spectre, which in that game might have been more important.
No, he did too. Yes, he did.
No, he got a Vanguard and a Heart and a Scotty.
Oh, he was on his way. Oh, he never. So his next thing was Abyssal. I remember him talking about it.
It was a 6th item, and it probably should have been more like a 4th.
Okay. Well, I wasn't really watching his items.
But and then on you, because you had a fuckload of gold as Techies.
I don't remember being well endowed.
You had 2 Maelstroms
in the gold area.
Scepter.
Oh, I bought those 2 Maelstroms right after we got Mega'd.
Oh,
So
okay.
like we had just won a big team fight, but we had gotten mega. So I was like double
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
maelstrom.
say you were sitting on 15K net worth. You weren't doing too shabby.
A lot of that
Um,
gold came from, I don't know if you remember, but right at the end of that game, near the end of the game, we had an awesome wipe that
Yeah.
didn't matter, where we killed
We
them
couldn't
all.
push it. We couldn't push it
And
back
it
in
was
time.
like, great, we just killed the Morphling twice because he had an Aegis, and we killed their whole team. And now we're flooded with creeps, and I'm a Techies with double maelstrom, and I'm like, okay, I'll hold. You guys push. And that was the idea, was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be lightning or Tesla Techies and put down mines and zap megas down. But in the
it
end,
was
it
an
didn't
hour
even
and
matter.
5-minute game, though. It was a great game.
The idea worked. The idea being Techies
we
is going to
should've-
drag the game on for something like Spectre to come completely online. Spectre did, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. We needed... Sorry, Blackheart, it's all your fault again. We
No,
needed Tidehunter, and I talked to her about it before, and she's like, "Ew, no." And I was like, ugh, "Please, like, just play Tidehunter. It's not like, you don't die really ever, and you just stay with us, and you press Alt, and and that's kind of, and if you gush every once in a while, pretty similar to a lot of other abilities, slows."
I'm not even willing to go that far and say that it was like
No, it's not her fault. But it would have been nice. Could you imagine if we had AoE
yeah.
damage and then AoE
So
AoE damage
so
and then AoE
here's
disable.
where I think we semi fucked up, and that was that we final banned the Faceless Void because I honestly, other than the Invoker being on the team, I don't know why.
We weren't thinking, dude. Like, think back on our pick. Like, we knew what we wanted to pick, and had like we knew we wanted to ban Lifestealer. Like that
right,
was
but
like
we did so good. We banned out the Omni because we're all
well, they
super-
banned out Shadow Demon, and so we're like, why do you ban Shadow Demon? Because you're
Yeah.
gonna pick Omni? I mean, I don't know.
But we banned out AM. We had to ban out the Zeus for the Techies. I felt like
Yeah.
and
We knew that we were
going
gonna ban Zeus.
We knew that we were going to ban the Lifestealer because we were trying to think of the super late game cores.
That we're gonna
Then-
go toe to toe with Spectre.
Second phase, we kind of response banned the Omni Knight. We banned the AM,
Which we
but-
didn't need to at all, I don't think.
No, I honestly, yes, I'm with you there. Like I'm never like that worried about an AM, and I feel like him draining Spectre's mana isn't
the biggest
that
deal. I was
awful.
just excited that we were getting our picks. I was excited it was like going our way because we were talking before and we realized that we weren't going to pick Tidehunter, so we first phase Murana Spectre, right? Oh no, yes, we
Yes,
did. We
yeah.
first phase Murana Spectre, and then we second phase Lich Warlock, and I was just so happy that we were just going to get our way. And then they pick the Invoker, and then they pick
the Invoker was their first pick.
yeah, no. Then they pick the Underlord, and I'm thinking, okay,
No,
Chrono
you're
is
thinking
gonna.
of the other game. Sorry,
I'm thinking of this game, and I
No,
remember
no,
thinking
this is the
Void
Battle
was.
Cup game.
I know
They-
this is the Battle Cup game. I know this is the
They
fucking
did
Battle
not pick
Cup game.
Underlord.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
thinking of the wrong game.
I
You're
am
thinking of the pub game.
there was a reason to ban Faceless Void, and I remember just going ahead and doing it, and everybody was
here's
like,
their lineup. It's because of the stress of the situation. Like we all, fucking do it. So they banned Ursa, they banned Ricky, they picked Invoker, they picked Wraith King, they banned Necro, they banned Shadow Demon, they picked Bounty Hunter, they picked Crystal Maiden. The only
Okay.
thing, and then they
that's
banned
not
Axe.
super. That's not super. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
not
there wasn't
super-
anything like there wasn't an Elder Titan to be worried about. There, like even if they had last picked that Void, like what were we really worried about? Like beyond the Void Crystal Maiden Invoker combo.
And Rin was like, I hope they pick Void, then I can set up my ults.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, let's not.
Well,
go for
she's
that.
kind
But
of
yeah,
right.
She
Like,
is. Like, a
you
Void
know.
wouldn't have been the best pick. Well, honestly,
We should have been if we had been thinking clearly.
there should have been a list of, okay, if we're, because the whole plan there is get Spectre to late game, right? That's the whole
Right.
idea. So we should have just compiled a list, plus Zeus, compiled a list of people who are good against Spectre late game, and just who cares what they're picking, ban all those, because we're already doing a who cares draft, right?
Right.
Like we're already doing a draft where it's like, I don't care what you're gonna do. We already know what we're gonna pick.
Right.
It's not even reactionary. It's
we want to go super late.
Yeah, we
Like,
want to go
that's
late,
what-
and we're gonna pick this draft if you'll let us. So really, why we were reactionarily banning anything wasn't necessary. We should have been like, okay, like
We don't wanna
Anti-Mage
go
could have
late,
been on that
and
list.
These are the top 5 late.
Lifestealer, definitely. Like, I think Morphling for sure, especially with, like, Morphling is widely considered the most overpowered hero in today's day and age.
Yeah.
Why he didn't even get a nod from any of us to be like, maybe Morphling? Like, not one of us said maybe Morphling. And I'm like,
Oh no. Yeah.
I'm so bummed because if Morphling got banned, their options would have been so limited. And God, I hate when like the golems would drop and I just see him like glowing red, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
"Fuck you, you bitch!" Like you strength morphing little morph bitch. Like I hate you.
I really can't think of any like I can't think of any late game there that I would have disliked as much as the morph. I'm looking at it now even.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
mean, Medusa, get a diffusal blade on Spectre.
if you even need to get a diffuse, like maybe get a diffusal on Spectre. Like Spectre dishes out a shitload of damage and can like reflect.
Honestly,
a lot of that
Medusa
damage
would have
back
been
onto her.
pretty shitty for like the ult. You know what I mean? But that's about
Yeah.
it. I think
But
we could
had
have
the
just
lockdown for it.
we could have just like Zeus, Lifestealer first bans, Medusa, Morphling next ban, last ban even Anti-Mage, and then it's like, okay, come at me. You know what I mean? Like, what you gonna
Yeah.
pick? Like, you need to win early. Pick a drow strat or something like that. You know, like try and win early, and like that's your best bet. Anyway, Audrey's yelling at me because Andrew's being loud, and I have to go in and tell him to be quiet. And she's texted me like 15 times. Can we close her out?
Yep, we sure can. Okay, so we got to do. I'm sorry, I know it's gonna take just a little bit, but we
That's
got to
fine.
do at
That's
least
fine.
do one review. So I was gonna make you guess, but I'm not gonna make you guess.
Norway.
We got a review today from Ireland.
That's close.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Dude, Conor McGregor from Ireland. Fuck yeah. That guy is awesome. He's a UFC fighter. I fell into a YouTube hole the other night.
Oh, nice.
He's like the nation's pride, dude. And I'm hoping he's not a Scotsman right now, because if he is, I am totally gonna look like a big douche.
Yeah.
So
and-
let's hope he's Ireland, from Ireland, Irish.
And if it's ever taken out of concept, let's hope the Scotsmen don't hear you say, and I hope he's not a Scotsman.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding.
I hope that he is actually Irish. I think he's an Irish guy. He's either anyway. Let's just move over that.
All right, as with all things, we're like super late on this one. Terminator 71, love this podcast, 5 stars. He's our only Irish review. He says, if you're a scrub, then you'll love this podcast. They're very welcoming, regardless of MMR or skill level. It's just some guys who love Dota and want to share their experiences with us, and hopefully in the process have us learn something new and them themselves. Keep up the good work. Now, I know you're in a rush. And
You
since I
keep
love
up
ya-
the good work. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
the number one thing. You keep up the good work, bastards. I'm sick of it, man. Keep up the good work.
So we were supposed to read all the British reviews
Nah,
today.
we won't.
We won't.
No, we won't keep up the good work. I'm done keeping up this good work. I'm going to start keeping up the bad work.
Yeah, I feel like we've been.
It
doing
is
that.
like the number one thing to say to people. Like, I say it all the time too. It's just such a weird turn of phrase. I don't know why it bugs me. It irks me. It doesn't really irk me.
I
Thank
read
you for the
some of
review.
these. I think we read some of these.
Let's just go
already.
ahead and close her because my
Yeah.
phone's frequency is it's going off. Oh my
Alright.
fuck. Oh my fuck. Oh my
Okay.
fuck. He's
Okay.
so loud. Okay. I need
Alright.
to, yeah.
All right, here we go. If you guys want to find us, we're at defenseofthepatients.com. Follow us on Twitter at @p_show.
Spot.
Find us Defense of the Patients on iTunes, where you can leave us a review like Terminator did over there in Ireland. Helps us get located.
Please
in the-
keep up the good work on those iTunes reviews.
Yeah, we really appreciate them. We're going to try to get to more of them with every show. Of course, find the Amazon banner, Patreon, all that good stuff. There's links to most of that to the website over at defenseofpatients.com. Check out the in-houses on Wednesday, the subreddit administered by Mr. Jay Gushi. And email us at defenseofthepatients@gmail.com, where you can also send business inquiries. I will add.
Oh,
Oh.
So I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
Denny, forgive me for I've sinned. So I bought World of Warcraft Legion.
Oh, no. Why?
Because I lost a Lycan game and I was like, I'm gonna just play another one, so I need to do something else. And so I bought World of Warcraft, and actually it's really fun. But there was this, so you know the pandas that you can be a panda. I'm not a panda. I'm a human mage.
Thank God.
I'm a human
Thank God
mage.
you're not a panda.
But this panda monk came in to this like little area I was killing things for somebody. And I was like, you're lame. And his name was Gucci. And I was like, oh fuck. And I was like, just kidding. I like pandas. Like, it was a panda monk, dude. And he had like, his name was like Jester Gucci or like something like that. Or like Jack Gucci or something. It was something weird. And I was like, oh God. Gucci just bought the game. My name is .P Roland. Like,
and you're just out there being an asshole.
I'm this human mage that's fucking had a silver spoon in my mouth my entire life, and this fucking panda monk comes in, and I just said out loud, I was just like, "You're fucking lame," because he was a panda monk, dude, and I just fucking hate that there's pandas. Yeah, there's pandas all over the place, dude, and they're neither good nor bad. They're neutral. They're not a horde or alliance. I found that out. They're neutral.
I don't want to hear any more about pandas. Fuck that.
I know. Pandas are lame.
You know what's not lame? I'm going to tell everybody just in case they didn't get the reference at the beginning of this show. Serial, the podcast, Sarah Koenig runs it. It's an awesome show. And it's going to be coming back semi-soon with a new season and a new storyline. It's well worth a listen. The first 2 seasons are incredibly
I don't think
interesting.
that we need to endorse them. I think.
Oh no!
I think they
just,
need to.
If people haven't heard it, like they should totally go listen to it. It's a great show.
God, could you imagine if they said like 1 second of what we just said about them? Our listenership would explode.
Yeah, for like a day, and then they would be like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about? I don't understand."
Yeah. So.
All right, fair enough. Here we go. If you guys, we know all the plugs. I already did that. Dear Lord, it's late. I'm tired. So until next time, this is Cyphus for Roland saying good luck and Godspeed.